What's cracking, everybody? Felrose here, bringing you some Pokemon Go Badly content. And in today's video, we're going to be capping off the Great League rotation for this final week of the season with one of my favorite teams that I've run all season. And I'll cap this team off of a fellow battler. His name is Zweilous, hence the nice Zweilous in the middle, with two Z's. You can find him on Twitter. Excellent battler. Just grabbed this team from him, figured it was a fun team, and I went on a rip with this team, and it's so much fun because Zweilous is such a good meta call kind of pick for if you see a bunch of ghosts in the back, and just in general it's really good. You're going to see the power of this thing today. It's actually incredible. So Shadow and Marowak, probably one of my favorite things that I've played all season long, and then you just Shadow Walrus as a safe swap because why not? Shadow Walrus is busted AF. So let's jump into these battles here and see what this team is all about. So first off, we've got Marowak against another Shadow and Marowak. This is not the greatest thing, and I hate playing out mirrors, so I go straight to my Walrus. Not screwing around. My opponent swaps in a Medicham, and at this point, I'm kind of happy with that because while I'm not going to get switch advantage, it does give me the chance to get ahead of energy on my own Marowak, which is going to help me a lot in that matchup. So hits him with an Earthquake, and they actually don't shield, so chance to flip switch? No, it's not going to happen. I'm not going to go ahead and shield this whatsoever, even though it's an Ice Punch. I'm not going to be able to get to that Icicle Spear in time. If I had shielded, I could have, but it's just they're just going to shield it, and then I'm going to have the same problem anyway. So, would rather keep both shields for Zweilous eventually, because I know they have an Alolan Marowak. It makes Zweilous a very interesting pick, and they come in with an Azumarill here, so they don't want to play the mirror out either, which this is going to allow me to whittle down their Azumarill, excuse me, with my Marowak. And that's really important because that's going to allow my Zweilous to just roll over the Marowak in the back. So Shadow Bone goes uncontested. I'm going to throw another Shadow Bone. I want my opponent not to shield, if I'm honest. That would be the ideal thing here. And if they decide to swap in their Alolan Marowak, I'm immediately counter-swapping my Zweilous and just farming it all the way down. That's the cool thing about Zweilous in this Great League meta is if most of the ghost types, it can literally just farm all the way down. And watch, here it goes. Watch the lawnmower, the green little dragon. It's just gonna mow this Marowak all the way down. This thing is insane. All they're gonna do is hit me with Bone Clubs, and they got resisted Fire Spin. Like, I'm not worried about this whatsoever. And like, look at this. This is just insane. It's absolutely nuts. And that's what is so much fun running a Zweilous in the Great League, is that if your opponent lets you get locked in against one of their ghosts, that's it. I've got 2.5 body slams from mowing down that Alolan Marowak, and that is going to be way more than enough to take out this Azumarill, because even with one shield, easily going to be able to get to another body slam after this one and take out the Azumarill. They have to shield, and then just going to get to the body slam the Azumarill to the end, and now we can confirm that Zweilous is in fact an Azumarill counter. Good game, well played. And that's the power of Body Slam on Zweilous. It's actually really strong in some of the multi-shield scenarios, like in 1 to 2 shields. This thing can be super strong. Altaria leads. I hate Altaria's gotten so popular lately, and I have no idea why, but it has. Now, this is a good one. So, Registeel, if they don't shield this first Dark Pulse, you can win this matchup. And I'm going to show you how. Because Dragon Breaths do a lot more damage than Lock-Ons do. And I could take a Focus Blast, I think, but I'd really rather not. And I'm already almost to another move here by the time they get to another, Focus Blast or Zap Cannon. So I'm going to go ahead and hit the Body Slam here. I'm counting their fast moves, and I wanted to get off before they did. So going to go for the Body Slam and force a shield on my opponent. And like I said, was counting their moves. That's going to get them to the Focus Blast or Zap Cannon. Going to go for the Focus Blast here. I can farm it down. I've committed 2 shields. I can farm it all the way down, and I'm going to have a bunch of energy ready. Visual Glitch is weird. Swampert, definitely not something that wants to come into his Zweilous. I'm going to just throw the Dark Pulse, just in case they decide not to shield. Because I want to get some more damage in. And they don't shield, which is great. Now, this was just a Hydro Cannon. This is not going to take out my Zweilous. So, Zweilous is going to continue fast moving down the Swampert. And then my opponent comes in with Altaria. And now they're going to have to tank this. And then Walrein is going to be matched up against the Altaria. And that's a good game. Opponent's not going to be able to do really anything by this point. I let them farm down my Altaria. Walrein comes in, and at this point, they just quit. That's a good game. Well played, my opponent. These battles were played in the 2500 elo range. I played them a couple weeks ago, but the team's still super strong. Shadow and Marowak is absolutely insane. It absolutely got an amazing buff when it got that Shadow boost from the OL event that we had last season. And this thing is just, or not last season. Well, I guess technically last season, and then we were able to TM frustration off of it this season. So it's just, this thing is nuts, and it's so powerful, and I love it. It's like I've always loved Warning Alone Marowak, but because of just the way that the meta shaped out, I never had the chance to really use it. Because, things like Trevenant, things like, Tapu Fini, the Azumarill got really popular again. So, like, there's just so much stuff that stopped it from being really great. But now, because my opponent threw that Earthquake and I shielded it, I'm going to be able to farm them all the way down, and Altaria comes in. Deoxys against my Walrein now. Not a great matchup here. Unfortunately, I kind of have to deal with this, though. But I'm going to throw the Earthquake in case they don't want to shield. And if they want to commit shields, that's fine with me. But you know what? They don't commit shields. Most of the time, they don't shield the first move. So Earthquake does a ton of damage and gets me really far ahead. And since I don't have any shields, I have no choice but to take this Thunderbolt. But what I am going to be able to do is I'm going to be able to farm this down with Zweilous. And I have a ton of energy left for my Marowak. So Marowak is going to come in and is going to get a Bone Club off right away. I want to put pressure on the shields here, but my opponent probably just saves shields for their... they save shields for their Altaria at this point, which is fine. I just didn't want to take a bunch of counter damage. I figure at this point what I'm going to do is I'm going to just try and mow this thing as far down with Zweilous as I can. Get a shield, and then try and see if I can get my Marowak to make some magic happen here with the energy that it's got. So, in hindsight, probably could have just thrown the Shadow Bone and saved some energy instead of throwing 2 Bone Clubs, but it's alright. My opponent has to get to another 14 or so Dragon Breath for their Sky Attack. That's about 4 Fire Spins, so I need to bait successfully here, and then I need to get 1 more Fire Spin and get to this Bone Club to take this win from my opponent. However, I know that we are getting very close, and just as I get to the Shadow Bone, my opponent gets to the Sky Attack and is able to take that game. Very, very tragic end, but well played to my opponent. That was a very close game, and it was just literally 1 turn of difference. So, moving forward here, we've got Shadow and Marowak against a Bastiodon. Now, this is bad. This is really not a good thing for this team to face at all, but we can do it, right? So, I'm going to bring in my Walrein, because Walrein is at least able to threaten shields with this Earthquake. And I'm going straight for it after I bait, because they're not swapping out, so I'm assuming that they have to prioritize their Bastiodon here. So, I bait successfully, get a shield, and now I want to go for this Earthquake now that I'm about to get farmed down. Now, the thing is, Shadow and Marowak can destroy a Bastiodon if the Bastiodon has no shields. They no longer have shields. Bone Clubs, I think you need 3 Bone Clubs to take out a Bastiodon. So I'm going to come with my Marowak, and now I'm going to commit my shields right back at this Bastiodon. I'm assuming at this point they've probably got grasses in the back. Usually there's a Victory Bell or a Tropius or something hiding back there. So I'm just going to continue to farm up, get some Bone Clubs off here, and use my last shield to protect my Marowak. I'm figuring at this point there's probably definitely going to be something in the back that is definitely not in the mood to deal with a Marowak, so I'm hoping that that is the case, because the opponent does not have any more shields, neither do I, but I think it's all fast move damage from here for them, because that's usually what the Bastiodon leads are all about, right? So Bone Club takes out the Bastiodon, and in the back is a Deoxys. Deoxys is not going to appreciate this Shadow Bone, but I do swap out because I didn't want to take a Psycho Boost to the face there, which I would have probably. And then so Rock Slide comes through, and then my opponent is staying in with the Deoxys. What that means to me is that there's a Victory Bell in the back. Look at that! There's a Victory Bell. So I am going to go ahead and try and farm up to 2 Body Slams here. I am resisting these Razor Leafs rather than those counters being super effective to me, so I'm hoping that I'm going to be able to get this off, but unfortunately I do not get to that next Body Slam, but because I have the energy on my Marowak with that 1 Fire Spin is able to take out the Victory Bell, and I'm able to take out the Deoxys almost with a Shadow Bone. So close, I was afraid for my life, but thankfully they were not able to get to a charge move before I was able to take it out. So next scene, we've got Victory Bell, the opposite, the dream lead. You couldn't ask for a better situation here. And they're staying in, which means that they are ABA weak. I bet you there's a Medicham or another Deoxys back there. I'm going to go for this Bone Club. I want to force a shield so that they can think that, oh, I'm going to get to a Leaf Blade or something. No, I'm going to let them go out. I don't want to have to force the shield here, and they come in with Wigglytuff. And it's at this point that I feel like I might be kind of screwed, but all is not lost here. Marowak does resist these charms. However, I'm afraid that there might be a Alolan Ninetales in the back, so I do have to swap at some point here. And they're not swapping out, so I'm actually just going to go and I'm going to shield up this Play Rough here, and then I'm going to go for these Icicle Spears. Or if they swap, I'm going to go for a Earthquake against the Alolan Ninetales if it pops in. Since they don't swap, I'm going to go right for the Icicle Spears here and start chunking away or getting shields. And we get shields, which is great. One more, going to get a shield here, or another big chunk of HP off of this Wigglytuff. Really don't want to see a Charmer against this my Zweilous. It's just not a good idea for me to have that. But they're out of shields, and they're down to their last Pokemon, and it's a Nidoqueen, and they forfeit, which is fine. Thank you. Very well played, I would say, but that wasn't really something my opponent was going to be able to play out of. They just kind of got hard locked by the Walrein after that. So, Magcargo. Now, this is a team that Thotectical made. Magcargo Double Fighter. That's what I'm expecting here, right? So, I will respect the damage of the Stone Edge and or Rock Tomb, and I will shield this up. And then, I'm going to start throwing my Bone Clubs with decent timing here. Just so that I can, I mean, these things hurt a lot. It's a double super effective Bone Club. That does over almost half the health of a Magcargo. Gonna be fine here. Now, Magcargo, I need to keep it away from my Walrein. The super effective damage from these rock type moves is just more than I care to deal with, so I do safe swap my Zweilous here, kind of thinking that this might be the double fighter team, and I am correct in that they come in with a Surfetch to counter my Zweilous, so I just didn't want to come in with Walrein because they could have just continued to farm up energy, and that just would not have been ideal. So I am going to let this go. I want to prioritize the energy on my Marowak here, but they go and throw a Leaf Blade, so I actually am able to farm down and maintain a switch advantage and give them very little energy, except the fact that it's energy on a Magcargo from a freaking Incinerate. So that's going to be a lot of energy for them, even though it's just one move. But I'm going to come in with Walrein now. I am going to commit a shield. I'm going to farm down. Or not. I'm not going to commit a shield. I am going to commit the shield, but I'm not farming down because I know they have Rock Tomb. I'm here just to absorb the energy. I expect them to have a fighter in the back. So I'm literally just sacking my Walrein at this point to try and take the energy off and get a bit of farm on my Marowak. And they come in with a Medicham, which is going to be very good for me because it's going to allow me to get to a couple Shadow Bones, and one Shadow Bone has to land, and that's it. So this is going to be basically looking like a good game unless I completely screw up here somehow. But no, going straight for Shadow Bone. I don't need to bait here. I don't want to bait here. And if my opponent decides they want to bait here, that's their problem because I'm not shielding. I'm calling the Ice Punch bait, and I'm going to let it go. Had that been a Psychic, sure, I would have been screwed, but, you know, I'm taking my chances. I mean, I figure if I shield this and it's not, then there's a chance that I lose the game. So, have to respect the chance that the opponent wants to bait and I'll Fire Spin down. And that's a good game. Complete bait call there. Opponents love baiting for some reason against these things. So, speaking of bait calls, Walrein on the lead. Shadow Walrein. They swap out immediately, and I'm in a Azumarill. Now, the thing with my Walrein is that it's supposed to be able to beat, I do believe, beats the Azumarill quite handily. Hello, sweetheart. Yeah, you're so cute. So, I'm fine with counter swapping it. As long as I throw my Earthquakes with good timing, I'm pretty certain that I'm able to get there. But I get gutsy and I call a bait because I took a little bit longer than I would have liked to swap in. So I'm hoping that they shield this, and they don't. That's not the time that I should be baiting, if I'm honest. But now they're within range of pretty much one Icicle, or one Earthquake and a Farm Down, so they're going to have to shield this, and if they don't, then that's a problem for them. So I'm going to throw one Earthquake here after the first fast move with good timing, and I'm going to go ahead and try and see if I can get them to tank this. Nope, they smartly shield this up, so now I have to go for the Earthquake again, and I'm going to get both shields off of them if I can help it, but I will overfarm a bit. Use this last shield and attempt to win the switch here if I can, but my opponent baits me with Ice Beam like a champion, so I'm going to go bait right back them with the Icicle Spear. This is the only way I win this matchup by now, is if I'm able to bait again with the Icicle Spear, and my opponent calls it again, and this is so frustrating, but at least by now I am at a point where I can just go straight Icicle Spear and possibly take them out, and at this point they're just going to let me do that, so I'm just going to hurl off a bunch of Icicle Spears. At this point I'm not even worried about it. So Yeah, frustrating to say the least, but my opponent decides not to commit the last shield. They're going to stay in, having their shield advantage, which is fine with me. They come in with the wall rain, and I'm not going to let them farm me down, because if they do, that's a disaster. So I'm going to bait here with the Bone Club, threatening this Shadow Bone, and they do shield up. And that means I'm going to be able to get to the Shadow Bone before they're going to be able to get to the Earthquake to take me out. Hello. Hello, bendy butt. What are you doing? And a Shadow Bone almost takes out the wall rain, and that's close enough for me. Now, it's in a farm range for Zweilous, and it's in a farm range for Walrein if I want to bring the Walrein back in, but I'm not going to. I'm saving Walrein for a sack swap right now. So, what they have in the back is totally dependent on what I need to do, and they have a Registeel. So I have to be very careful with my counts here. I have to get off this Dark Pulse beforehand, and I'm keeping very good track of their energy, and I am just hoping that they don't try to overfarm or anything, because if they do, that's a disaster for me. But I am going to swap here, catching the move on my Walrein. They have to throw energy here or risk, you know, me getting to a move or something. I mean, honestly, they could have farmed on my Walrein, but I did catch the move and they conceded the match at that point. That is why it's very good and helpful to know your move counts and know the lock-on counts from, you know, things like Registeel. Stuff like that is very helpful. Helps you perform moves like that, where if you know it's only 15 to a Focus Blast, 16 to a Zap Cannon, you can swap on 15 or 16 and know that you're going to be able to probably catch that move, because most of them don't overcharge that much. Unless they're trying to farm you down with lock-ons, it's a different story. But I'm shielding up here. I overfarm at first because I want to be able to get a good energy lead, and then just start throwing, like, you know, one fast move, throw the Bone Club, one fast move, throw the Bone Club. But I am going to need to shield here because my backline doesn't necessarily enjoy dealing with a G-Fisk, so this is going to allow me to farm down. Even though they're up 2 shields, we're going to try and make some magic happen here, kind of see what's in the backline, usually expecting an Azumarill and a Trevenant, so we're going to see what happens here. But Azumarill isn't too bad for Walrein, especially not Shadow Walrein, and especially when they decide they're just not going to shield my Shadow Bones, which is fine. So I'm going to CMP, or hope to CMP, but it looks like my opponent wants to try and farm down here, which is a problem for me. But I absolutely have to keep this thing away from my Zweilous. So I will go one more for the Shadow Bone, expecting my opponent to try and farm me down, but I have so much energy that I'm going to be able to get more Shadow Bones off, and they know what to do with, and they have to shield this up, or they're going to get into a farm range for my Walrein. And they only have a couple of moves to throw here, so they're running play rough. That's fine with me. I am going to be able to get a Talonflame in here. Now I'm going to farm up some energy. I'm going to throw it. I'm just going to try and get their last shield. All I'm worried about is their last shield. And then if I can come in and farm it down with Zweilous, I'm in a good place. I'm pretty sure Zweilous lives the Brave Bird here. And if the opponent decides not to throw the Brave Bird, like this, I can scream into the abyss like Maggie here. And then I can actually... I should have tried to throw the move here, but I missed the timing. My opponent goes for another Flame Charge, which is definitely not correct. I'm going to be able to get to a second charge move here. They should have gone for Brave Bird, but I could have farmed them. I wouldn't have been able to farm them down with this, but maybe they were afraid of me farming it down with Walrein. I don't know what the thought process of my opponent was here, but Zweilous is going to be able to pick up this game for me by being able to get this Body Slam off, and that is a good game. Well played to my opponent. I just, you know, sometimes the opponent made some questionable calls. Maybe they didn't know that the Brave Bird was the play there. Maybe they were afraid of the Walrein farm down. I'm not sure. I think that they would have been fine there. But Deoxys lead is exactly what I want to see, especially when they decide not to swap out. And I'm going to be able to get this Shadow Bone off, and I'm going to start putting a lot of pressure on this Deoxys to either shield or just get bent. And it decides to get bent. So they're going to just try and get me, get a shield off of me here and just sack their Deoxys, which they're going to get a shield off of me, because if they're really that weak to me in the back, then I'm going to just take it to the house and I'm going to farm it down. Now this is a Psycho Boost, unfortunately. I do have to tank this. I'm not willing to shield this. I was willing to shield it if it was a Rock Slide, but now that I know it's just a Psycho Boost, I'm fine. And they come in with Scrafty. And yeah, my backline doesn't like to see Scrafty either. So they're running AA counter. They're running Deoxys Scrafty. So this is a problem. So I need to throw these Bone Clubs with at least decent timing here to try and prevent them from getting free moves in, because that would be not ideal. And I'm not taking much damage from the counters, thankfully. It looks like my opponent's going for a hefty farm down, and then we finally CMP here on this charge move. And they're going to go for the foul play. And I think at this point, I think I have gotten them low enough that I can just let my Alolan Marowak go. It has done its job. And if they go for Power Up Punch, that's their problem. So if they go in with the Foul Play, I'm going to come in with Zweilous. The Dragon Breath damage is respectable enough to let me farm it down, and they come in with a Wall Rain. And then they seem to have stopped moving. So I'm not sure if they lagged or if it was a visual glitch, but I'm going to play this out as I need to. I'm going to go for the Earthquake against the Wall Rain, and I'm going to hope that maybe they just don't shield it. And they don't shield it, and you know what? That warrants the... But as you try to drink my water, you little thief, I saw that coming. Ooh, you all saw it. That's going to be on the internet forever. In 20 years, I can look back at this video of you stealing my water. And Scrafty solo that I can farm it down, and that's going to be a close on that game there. So we've got this next one is Marowak versus Umbreon. This is a god-awful lead, and I need to bail out into my Wall Rain. Stay hydrated, folks. You can have the water when you know what to do with it. So, opponent counter-swapped with nothing. They're staying in against the Umbreon, and then they finally bring in a Victory Bell after I've decided to get more energy than I know what to do with, but I mistimed my move. I waited until I had back-to-back, and then I threw, but unfortunately they were able to get a Razor Leaf through. Now, once again, I've been harping on this for like over 2 weeks now. We need to get these fast move inconsistencies fixed. Y'all at Niantic, I appreciate the work you've done so far. You've done a fantastic job with the Sneaks Denials thing. Please continue to keep it up and fix this one-turn desync and lack of one-turn being used for charge moves. This is just, it's horrendous and horrible. But anyway, so I take out the Victory Bell with my Marowak. I farm it down, save the energy, and bring in my Zweilous. And they have a Skarmory. I have 2 shields, and they're Skarmory. So I'm going to go straight for the Dark Pulse here. I want to go for the big damage. I'm not really looking to bait with Body Slam, because that would be a huge waste of energy if they decided not to shield like that. And honestly, the Dragon Breath damage adds up fast enough that I can now start to go for Body Slam baits. And that's going to be good enough, because they're already low. And like that, they're going to shield it, because they're already low enough. And now what I can do is I can shield this up, and I can either farm it down, or I can let my lone Marowak come in, just like that, farm it down the Skarmory, and just tank the energy. I'd rather save the shield for the Umbreon at this point, so I'm okay letting my Marowak go down, but they don't even have enough damage to take it out. That means I'm going to be able to get a Bone Club off on the Umbreon. They get their fast move through as they should, and Bone Club is going to go through, and then Zweilous is going to be able to finish the job off with a Body Slam here, taking out this Umbreon. But I believe I experienced the one-turn desync because I should have been able to throw that Body Slam and not lose CMP to an Umbreon. There it is, right there, plain as day. Niantic, please, I beg of you, fix these problems. I know you guys can. You've done it. I believe you. Oh, that was the last game. All right, well, I was doing transitions for nothing then. All right, anyway, so that was the team, and a showcase of the team doing really well in the Open Great League. Ended up here with a 4-1 set, and I mean, this is my new favorite team to play in the Great League. So again, these were done in veteran ELO range, but it's still, you know, it's still relevant because even legends are in the veteran ELO range, and you guys all probably are watching this because you need teams to play with and some help on getting an idea for one. So hopefully this team suits you well. Again, this team was created by fellow battler, member of the community, Zweilous. So shout outs to them for this team idea on Twitter, and I hope y'all have a great rest of your week, season. Let me know in the comments how your season's going. Hopefully you're able to hit your goals or at least get close to them. If not, please remember I do have a Patreon Discord that I have a wonderful, lovely community in, and if you're looking to get early tips, teams, and access to all of my brain pickings and meta teams and stuff for the upcoming season, especially all the move updates that are hopefully coming, hop in there. It's going to be a great place to be to get ahead on GBL, as well as if you're looking to improve in general. I do offer coaching on Metafy. Go ahead and check that out. Both of those have links in the description, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.